straight to the point.
What else you think? What did you say? Can you hear me?
There we go, loud and clear.
Welcome to the East Coast Trades Podcast. Let's get it rolling.
You know.
Alright guys, so you have here John Google, owner and originator of Google Painting LLC, along with East Coast Trades Podcast. Today our first guest, we have Nick Rehrig with Krieg and Sieg, and it's a phenomenal company that he has created on his own. You might have a partner, I'm assuming, Nick, or is it just
No,
you?
it's just me right now.
Okay,
Yep.
Awesome. And what I wanted to really do, as I stated before with this podcast, it's not just companies that are within the trades. I really wanted to broaden the aspect of anyone that has created a company or is looking to create a company but has a lot of business acumen experience, or just in general maybe works with a lot of people within businesses. I want to bring them on because at the end of the day, I think all of us can contribute to something bigger than ourselves. And
Yeah, for sure.
when you create a business, I think at the end of the day, that's what everyone's main focus is, especially a successful company or a successful business. The thing is, we're doing more than ourselves. We're either providing a service or a product that is helping improve people's lives, or lending a hand to where we're making more people that are less fortunate appreciate things that can be accessible to them because they might not have the tools, the capabilities. And as I look around, I just see all these different type of people I have came across within my relationships and, all, life's a walk. At the end of the day, I came across, obviously, we're cousins and things like that. But when I came across your business, I didn't know you had one, until...
Yeah. Well, we haven't talked in a long time either.
Exactly. So, which is really cool. And, this is one of the main reasons why I started this, is the fact that it's going to allow me to talk to people that I don't get a chance to really sit down with for more than an hour and really just, ask how things are going, how their life is doing. And obviously, one of the best things is it's a business here, and so you could tell a lot about somebody within their business because at the end of the day, that's their character and they bring that to their culture, their product, their brand. So overall, I'm excited with the podcast, being the second episode and having you on here. It's really cool. And it just really helps, highlight and emphasize that I'm not just bringing on people from the trades. The reason why I called it the trades, East Coast Trades Podcast, is the fact that that's how I got started. That's what really motivated me to want to start this podcast, is the fact that I know so many individuals, I worked in so many trades as I grew up, that run great companies, do great things within the trades. But like I said, at the end of the day, they're providing a service within a company. And for me, I would like to just keep building networks for everyone. I truly believe that everybody can make a basis and a foundation for people to just really highlight what they're trying to put out into the world. So
yeah, I think what you're doing is a great idea, and I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Nick. And like I said, I'm looking forward for everyone to learn about your business as much as I'm excited to learn about your business.
Well, I'm still learning as it is, so.
And that's always the best part.
I started this back in 2018, and it's got its ups and downs, just like anything.
Yep.
But I didn't have a website up until about like a year ago, so.
Now let me ask you, with the website, did you start it did you create it yourself, or did you go to a marketing company that makes it for you?
No, so I went on to GoDaddy. I bought the domain.
Okay.
And I put a few pictures up there, and I kind of just let it sit for a while. I didn't really do too much with it.
Yeah.
Because my inventory was constantly changing.
Yep.
So when I first started out, typically buying stuff from different manufacturers, stuff that I wasn't necessarily designing myself.
Okay.
So I would be getting the designs from the manufacturer, but then there was other, there could be 10 other companies selling the same thing.
Yeah.
So I was going to, the trade shows, the tattoo expos, things like that. And, with the inventory constantly changing, I couldn't keep, the pictures updated and all that stuff. So I kind of let the website just kind of sit there for a while.
Yeah.
And then I started getting more, creative with the designs and started designing stuff myself. And I was more comfortable, posting the pictures up there because I knew I had like a lot of inventory of the same thing versus somebody saying, oh, I bought this at a show. Like, do you have any more? And me saying no because I only had a few of them.
Exactly.
But there's still a lot to learn for me.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sure you got your whole thing going on too.
100%. I mean,
I'm gonna crack this open. Actually.
Yeah, you're fine. A little bit of serum is always good for you. But yeah, the biggest thing, like you said, with the website alone, when I created my business, that was like one of the first things. I was like, all right, I gotta make a website, right? Like today, I'm not saying, you don't need them because you really do. At the end of the day, that's gonna be your portfolio to show people. It's almost, and especially for you, when you have an apparel company, items that you're going to be selling, that's the shopping cart. That's for them to go through your inventory and really see what you have to offer as a product, even within the service of it.
Yeah.
And even for us, you really have to have a nice, efficient website where if people do come to it, it needs to be professional, it needs to be easy to work with, just everything for you to find what you're looking for. It just needs to be user friendly.
Yeah,
right.
I noticed that. I had a few people reach out to me and they're like, I'm on your Instagram and I see that you're posting these T-shirts and like the beanies and stuff like that. But I go to your website and I'm scrolling through and I can't find the items. Yeah. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, well, I posted them on there. Like I don't know where they could be, but I never actually like categorized, clothing, rings, bracelets. Like the other items that I have.
Yep.
And so I finally did that, about a week ago, and I saw that it makes it a lot easier for people.
For sure. Yeah, and that's the best part about all this. At the end of the day, you can have a vision of what you want things to go to, right? You can have a vision of how you think it's gonna, pan out, and you want something to look a certain way. But once you start getting feedback, right? You get feedback from individuals that obviously want to be a part of what you're doing, buy your products, things like that. But sometimes you just get feedback from individuals where they have no recollection whatsoever about what you're doing, right? Don't even have a full grasp of your industry or your product or your branding, but they still see those things that maybe you didn't say because maybe you were biased or you don't want to say, but like, all right, they pointed it out. I know this needs to be fixed. It's great because it always allows you to realize that there's always room for improvement.
Oh, yeah.
There's things for you to keep growing on and changing. And that's what's fun about all of it. I mean, sometimes you kind of get overwhelming and you'd be like, man, like, I don't even know if I want to do, like, am I wasting my time? Am I, turning my wheels in mud? Like,
well, that's kind of how I feel at this point. We spoke a little bit before and it's just, I'm at the point now where, with the way the world is right now with COVID and, I do a lot of my sales in person, so I'll do tattoo expos, I'll go to different shows and I'll set up a 10x10 booth and, if you check out my Instagram, whatever, you'll see different pictures of like what my setup looks like.
Yeah.
But I put a lot of time into that, it's usually 3-day events, and you can have anywhere from 5,000 to 40,000 people over the weekend go to these shows.
That's amazing.
But I'm not getting that traffic to my website. So
exactly.
it's very hard right now because not getting that traffic to your website and not getting those sales is tough to run a business when, you can't do the shows when that's where your money's at.
Yeah. Yeah, like you're counting on that to generate the revenue you need so you can.
So it's hard to come up with, you got to keep the designs, you got to keep different apparel and, keep making stuff, but you're making stuff and not bringing in that money. So that's what makes it tough. And I'm trying to get to a point where I can get the website where I need it to be.
Yeah.
Just last night I saw that I could link my, so before it was Shopify, I think. Are you familiar with Shopify?
Shopify, yep. Yeah, it's a good user-friendly shopping cart.
They had like the little shopping cart on the picture and you could tag it and you can click on it.
Yeah.
And I was getting ready to switch to Shopify. And I went on my GoDaddy account last night, and I saw that GoDaddy actually has that same feature now. So now I linked my website to my Instagram. So now, like, if there was a picture of me wearing this shirt, when you tap on the picture, it brings you right to the website
Right to the website.
So I feel like that's a good feature, because it's something most people are scrolling, and they'll like the picture and they'll keep going. But now they could tap it, and it could say visit website, and it gives you like another action.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Which is good.
Yeah, and it makes it, again, a little bit more user friendly.
Yeah, right.
It skips the step of them having to go to a link.
Yeah.
It automatically brings them to the page.
Right.
And at the end of the day, that's really what's going to help keep making your presence on the social platforms more professional.
Right.
Same thing with your website. It's more professional, it's more friendly user. And that's the main goal of it. But like I said, it just takes time, especially when you're doing it all on your own.
Yeah.
So which is cool. I mean, I didn't know it was just you. I didn't know if you had partners or not. So
yeah, no, I mean, I'm looking to grow it at some point.
Yeah.
But it just, everything takes time. So
For sure.
like, I have to learn it first before I could teach other people.
Definitely.
Like, I would like to do multiple shows
Yep.
at one time, but I'm only one person.
Yeah, and I could see where that struggle right now. Like you said, you put a lot. It's not essentially saying put all your eggs in one basket, but that's a big portion of where you're waiting to get like I said, a big portion of your income, and to allow you to fund other options within the company.
Right.
Keep growing.
I try to do, like, I reached out to couple different stores, like, how they have, like TJ Maxx or whatever, and they'll buy from you wholesale. I filled out applications like that before to try to get, like, my jewelry, because they have display cases in there.
Yep.
And I always see, like, men's jewelry in there, and I was like, there's nothing really that's similar to what I have. So I filled out an application. They ask you a bunch of different questions, but
that's really cool.
that got denied, but nothing saying that I can't keep trying,
Exactly. Now, when they deny it, do they give you reasons why it's denied, or is it more just
they just say no.
Yeah. No.
Like, you might not meet their requirement. Like, they ask you specifics. They say, how much can you produce in a month? And maybe I wasn't able to meet their, requirements.
Yeah.
I'm not sure,
Okay.
how that. They didn't really give me an answer, and I don't really know anybody in the company to really help me.
Or maybe even an industry that maybe went out and filled one of those out before.
Yeah. So.
And you might be able to reach out to somebody within those companies where they might be able to give you a little additional information, like, oh, you need to make sure you qualify for this, or to get you in that line. But that's a great idea. I mean, what made you come up with that idea to, like, reach out to those companies?
Well, because I have the ability to produce, hundreds, thousands of pieces.
Yeah.
And I obviously can't. I'm not selling that on my website.
Exactly.
So, like, what if I did bulk orders to, a bigger company?
Yeah.
Like, I've done wholesale to different tattoo shops.
Okay.
To where they buy wholesale from me, and they have glass cases in their tattoo shops, and they do that.
That's really nice. How does that work for you? Is that pretty?
It's
pretty
good
low for basis.
But it's with the traffic that you get from a tattoo shop, depending which one it is, I don't know how much they're really selling. So it might just be something cool to look at,
Yeah, it's almost more like a decorative type of addition to what they have.
And then if somebody looks at it and they try it on and it happens to fit them,
then they want to.
Then they grab it.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I thought it was cool because if it wasn't their size, then that would drive traffic to my website, maybe.
Of course. And they might buy something additional versus just oh, I don't know, they just
So it's not that it was a big money maker for me.
Yeah.
But it was cool to say that the stuff that you designed and the designs that you collaborated with other people were able to be displayed somewhere other than your website and the trade shows that you get.
For sure. And I think that's the biggest aspect that you're gonna find will be rejuvenating and wealth for you in the sense of building your brand. Obviously part of the marketing aspect, but when you can put your product out there in so many different avenues of businesses, just in general into the public, the more you can do that, you're just building that brand. It could be just a quick look. Oh, it's Krieg and Sieg. Like, I see it. I see that. I see the rings. They see a logo that you might put on a lot, and they see it on a ring.
Right.
Like, oh, I seen that somewhere. You know, where did I? So that's the thing. Like, the biggest thing is when you can keep putting that out there, you don't know who that might attract. That might push it forward to somebody else, and the more you can just put those small little implementations of, you know, your products or just your branding, it's you don't know who's willing to buy from you or not.
Right.
So it's always good to keep building that network. That's something I do. You know, for example, when it comes to our suppliers, people think, all right, you just buy products from suppliers. Well, if you have a great service from using their product, they'll be more than happy to refer you. You know, because at the end of the day, like Sherwin-Williams, you know, they're one of our main suppliers. That's our sole supplier who we use and we recommend. And people come up to our store locations, you know, our main headquarters where we operate out of, and they're always asking, you know, do you guys have a good painter that, you know, could paint a couple of rooms for me or have an exterior job? Sometimes they're commercial jobs. Yeah. And they're like, boom, you know, they give our card out, you know, and to put on their end, the fact is they'll still give our card out with a couple other. Yeah. And, you know, asking who they ask, they might just give our card up front, or at the end of the day, we at least go out and prove and show who we are as a company as we sell our products and services. And, you know, 9 times out of 10, we usually get the job. So that alone, that's one avenue. And then, you know, all down the list of, you know, realtors that we work with. And obviously all the avenues of marketing with our trucks, lawn signs, right? You know, our apparel. This, you know, the podcast as being another avenue, all social platforms. It's just like wherever you can implement your company, your brand, you don't know where you can generate business from. You know, we work with so many different partners, assisted living homes, and it just keeps generating that wealth, you know, on top of our commercial connects and things like that. So I think it's a great idea of you looking for these, you know, smaller businesses, tattoo parlors and things like that. I think it's amazing. I mean, and that could take you anywhere. It's barbershops, you know. Right. I don't know is that something also that you have looked at? No,
I've never thought about putting anything into like a barbershop or anything like that. But I do a lot of the, like I said before, like a lot of the tattoo expos is kind of where I go because it kind of fits the whole, like everything going on there. You know, people are designing their own tattoos, they're designing their own artwork, you know, so everything kind of fits into that like realm. Exactly. You know, so like I said, I seem to do good when I'm in person, when I do the in-person sales. Yeah, that's awesome. And what's nice, you know, with the social media, social platforms, they make it so easy now where you can apply your selling to the platforms. You know, you can put a little bit of your character to that. So that's something, you know, I think that's where I fall short too. Like I see, you know, like you for example, you know, with Google Painting. Yeah. I see you on there with your phone. Hey guys, we're doing this, we're doing that. Like I don't do that. You know, this is really the first time that I'm even remotely talking about my brand to like whoever's going to see this video. Exactly. You know, I mean, I get a lot of support from my friends and my family. You know, they buy stuff from me. They take pictures, just like you know, you purchase these two, you know, beanies from me. Exactly. You know, but yeah, it's that I got to do more of that. Yeah, the more you put yourself, that's one thing I'm glad you said that and you're honest about it. You know, a lot of people might just say, oh yeah, that's something I'm doing too. But like, I'm glad you're honest about that because that's, to me, I see a lot of companies lack that. Like people, I don't know if people think that's selfish to put themselves in front of the camera, but you're part of your brand. You know, at the end of the day, you're part of it. It doesn't have to always be you. You know what I mean? Right. It could be people that's buying from you that you can, you know, if they're fine with you recording them or getting their testimonial of using your products, right? Or just doing business with you. They like the fact that, you know, the way you conducted the sale and, you know, made them aware of what your products are all about and how they're created and what the meaning is behind them. That alone, you know, you record that, you capture that, and you put it out there for people. That will start allowing not only the target market that you may think you're going after, that will develop your target market. That will develop your customer base because those individuals that are seeing those recordings, you know, hearing the recordings as well, they're like, I like that person. You know, I like Nick because
I have a lot of similarities with him where I like how he treated that person because that's the way I want to be treated.
Yeah.
It might be a small, minute, concept, but at the end of the day, that's what sells. I mean, business, I always believed in this. I still do. I don't think I ever will not. The fact is, good business, it goes hand in hand with, good relationships, good life. Like, business and life is the same thing. It's, and it's up to you if you make it that way. I mean, there is businesses that all they solely focus on is just money, right?
Right.
And do some of them thrive? Yeah, because, their main goal was profitability thing. But then again, not, I would say probably 8 times out of 10, they really don't do that well if that's all their main focus on. They don't really have good morals, good standing, that's something that really is the most important thing. So if they don't have that kind of stuff, I think that might be one of the biggest drawbacks.
Yeah. Like when I'm in, we said.
I'm gonna slide over and make sure we have this.
Right. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we're still good.
That's what I like about the in-person sales is that I get to communicate with them versus, like I said, like I'm not on my Instagram videotaping myself talking about my products, stuff like that. So being in person, I could ask the person when they come to my table or my booth and say, hey, what are you interested in? And they could say, oh, well, I like nautical this, or, and I could point them to, well, do you like lighthouses? Do you like anchors? Do you like clothing with nautical designs? And I had that stuff, to where I could help them. And then they leave buying something, but they leave happy. Versus like there's other jobs out there where people might be unhappy, but they're unhappy because they're not getting the results from they're not getting joy out of what they're doing.
Exactly.
Where like when somebody leaves and they buy something, they're like, oh, it was a decent price. It's a nice piece, and they're on their way.
Yep.
So like I like that.
For sure. No, I think it's like I say, you got the right mindset with it, and you only get better at it. The more I noticed when I sold any type of service, and especially when you believe in what you sell, it's so much easier. Honestly, when you believe in what you sell, it makes it a lot easier. It's harder to sell something when what you're selling might not be as truthful as what they try to make it out to be.
Right.
You're sort of BSing a little bit of the perks that they're trying to, or the additional value that they're trying to present. It's not really there, or it's not really the same versus competitors. But when you believe in what you sell and you know what's capable of what you sell, it makes it a lot easier. And
there's passion behind it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's,
you understand the full scope of the possibilities of it too.
Right.
And I think that's one of the biggest things is, you should never overpromise anything. When you should know the true capabilities of what you have, and you make the value out of that. You make the reasoning behind that versus trying to overblow something out of proportion and be like, oh, well, we can do all this. And when it comes time to vindicate that, what do you do when the results aren't there?
Right.
You lose a good, it could be employee, customer, whatever it may be, But I think that's a great way to look at it.
What are you kind of doing to, make your social media better? Maybe some tips that I could take from you. Yeah,
I mean, one of the biggest, like I said, constantly trying to get behind that screen, and it doesn't have to be just you. It could be anyone that works with you. Like, I mean, obviously it's just you doing it, but as you grow, maybe some of your employees that are working with you, like I said, getting that customer testimonial, maybe their vision of what working with some of the barbershops or the tattoo parlors or these expos, anyone that manages these expos, have them see what their outlook is on you, and that really helps determine too, like where you're heading, how you're viewed from the outside, and that's what's really going to make you realize what shifts you need to make within branding yourself, right?
Because I've been trying to do different things. Like I've sent stuff to, influencers or, people that have, 20,000, 100,000, 350,000 followers, and like they'll take a picture with the item that I send them, but I don't really notice anything from it.
Yeah.
As far as like I'll get traffic to my website from it, but I don't get any like sales from it.
True return on it.
So it's like their picture will have 14,000 likes, but not all likes turn to $1.
For sure.
Or anything like that. So I'm still trying to figure it out. It's just like an unknown like territory for me. Just because, like I said, everything that I've ever done has been in person. So now I'm trying to get to this like in the Instagram and the online, but I'm not necessarily like the best with technology either.
Yeah, I think breaching that space is key. I mean, especially today. I mean, as we were talking before we got on here, everyone's behind their screens, right? So as much as personally I don't like it, you know, I really think people need to interact more in person. It brings a whole different dynamic of relationship, value, purpose, right? Versus being behind these screens. But you can show true authenticity of your own branding, of your own person behind these screens. And that's one thing that I said a lot of these companies lack, because people, I don't know if they're too afraid to put themselves out there, talk about their business, or maybe they feel it's a selfish thing where they're like, it's not all about me. But you don't have to make it that way, right? There's ways to do it. And like I said, it's an art. You always craft that as well. You improve that. But it's key. You really need to be on these platforms. The reason why, like I said, it puts you out there in front of so many people, and it's going to allow you to draw the people that really want to work with you. You're not going to be perfect for every person. Like, not everyone's going to love those rings. Same with me. Not everyone's going to love working with me, and is going to want, you know, the way we structure our business, from pricing, from servicing. You know, some things might just not be to someone's liking. You know, and you just have to create your own. You're not supposed to take the whole market.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's where I think getting into the clothing has kind of helped me, because everybody wears clothes.
For sure.
You know.
And there's nothing better than putting a nice T-shirt on, or
you know, I put a lot of like effort into, you know, either collaborating with different artists or like making the designs myself.
Yeah.
And then to see like them not go on the website, you know, because like I said, they're not for, like you said, they're not for everybody.
Exactly.
You know, but for the majority of the people that go to the events that I go to, they seem to like them. But then I said I have to get into something else where like everybody wears a beanie. Exactly. You know what I mean? Everybody wears a t-shirt. Everybody wears a hoodie.
For sure.
You know, they just have to like the design and, you know, the company that stands behind it.
And I think it's perfect. Like, you don't have to go over and beyond and start making umbrellas and things. You know, like, but the fact is, you're right. I think if you put a couple additional things out there that will fit someone else's liking, that you know it's a little bit more broader of a product that's acceptable, you know, to people's likings. It definitely opens up your realm of more sales, more opportunity to touch people with your product, you know, your brand and your creativity. And that's the thing. All this is an art. I mean, a lot of that, when you're bringing a certain service that has end results of visual, right? So that's service that we do. It's a visual.
Right.
Same with yours. It's a product. It's a visual. That's an art. You know, it's different from a consulting firm, you know, where they come in and they give you advice and it's all verbal. It's out there in the air. It's not really put together in a beautiful blueprint for you to see it when it's all done, right?
Yeah.
You could see the results of how things are being improved from figures and, you know, maybe morale of a company, you know, increasing, whatever it may be from that. But this is an art. So, you know, you look at art. Some art doesn't blow up until sometimes the artist is gone. You know, it's just, that's the thing that's crazy. It's what people value. And sometimes it's the time that it takes over. But the biggest thing for me, I realize, and the best part, we live in a day and age now where I think we can expedite that process. You know, expedite that time where, you know, something can blow up because you have to reach that certain group of people that appreciate it. And it's, now we're in that time where it's never been easier because it's so accessible to you. So, I mean,
the thing is, everything's so flooded on the internet.
It is.
You know,
it
versus
is.
like, I mean, with what you have, you know, that's good. I mean, is there a lot of companies? Yeah, but there's like a lot of people that need housework done too. Not everybody needs, you know, a design.
Exactly.
You know, like
For
that
sure.
anyway.
For sure.
But so I don't know. It's tough because I see these other companies and they're out there and they're, you know, selling stuff for so cheap. I don't know how they make a profit off of it. Like, I've even had companies that have stolen my designs, you know, and I guess they just, from the picture from the pictures that I take, they recreate it, and then I notice they're on somebody else's website.
That's crazy.
You know, and they might be from a different country, so I can't even send them like a cease and desist letter.
Exactly.
Because what are they going to do? They don't have to answer to us.
Yeah.
So that makes it difficult too. You know,
that's what's sad. When you have to deal with that. Where people they're not putting forth what's behind just the creation of it. Like you said, there's a lot to your company. I mean, we'll get to it, but when you're dealing with that, it's tough because, like you said, it can be flooded, and then it's hard. How can they differentiate you from those, right? And like I said, one of the biggest things is that obviously, with every business, one of the best referral options is word of mouth from previous customers, clients. So that's going to be huge for you to differentiate yourself. But I think one of the biggest things, you getting behind that screen. These people, these other countries that's selling it. Is there anyone really showing the quality of what this product's all about?
Right.
Is someone really putting the value behind it? Because sometimes, someone might buy that because they just want it for a Halloween costume.
Yeah.
But if they know, all right, hold on, this is a little bit more money and value. There's actually more quality that goes into this product versus the cheaper one.
Right.
But at the end of the day, too, there's actually something behind it, and there's a meaning behind it.
Like I see some other companies. I'm not going to specifically name them, but they're selling like alloy, which it'll turn your finger green.
Yeah.
Versus like everything that I have is 316 stainless steel, which is equivalent to like surgical steel.
Exactly.
You bring it in the ocean, the water, the shower, wear it forever, and you practically don't even have to clean it. It's going to stay the same color.
When you first got it.
Yeah. So.
And that's the difference, and people will see that. Like I said, if you're buying costume jewelry, I mean, most likely you're gonna notice you can't keep that on you all the time. It's only there for momentarily. But when you have something like this and you can keep it with you, for a long time, I think that's where people can also see the difference in the value.
Right.
So I think that's a big part. And then, I just again I think the more creations and relationships you make with, like I said, real connections versus just the social platforms.
Right.
Like when you're reaching out to these artists, right there alone, you're already creating good relationships with people that can take your company to the next level.
Yeah.
Keep emphasizing what you guys are trying to work on in the sense of value products and things like that. And then just being, trying to find new ways. Like I said, like you never thought about the barbershop, and that was just me, coming from just a different perspective. Because, I mean, I see it, I'm not going to lie. Like, I like getting my hair cut, and, that alone is like an art,
Yeah, for sure.
That's really cool to see, like, really neat haircuts being done and just seeing a real good looking, shape up and everything. And that goes hand in hand with tattoos. Like, I seen online, I was, following a page, and I was like, man, that's really cool. The dude's getting a tattoo and his haircut, at the same time.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, that's really neat. And it was cool because, like, they had the whole realm of it. He was sitting there. Guy came over from the bar. They had a bar in the barbershop.
Oh, really?
in the tattoo parlor. And gives him a drink. He's getting his haircut. After the haircut, he's done. He jumps in the barber seat.
This was online?
This was online.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was a I don't know, he might have been like some kind of model or something like that, like a fitness model. But it was really cool because you seen him, and they made it in a really neat, short clip. It was like maybe a minute and a half with some cool background music. And, and this is stuff that you can do with your business. Like you can take a moment where you're just designing it, quick little snippet video, you design it with some background music, then you transition it into, hey, we're here at a barbershop, right? And you don't even have to say you're here. You don't even have to put your voice behind it. It could just be you, taking a video of someone getting their hair cut and your product on the back shelf, right? And then you go into the next, boom, someone getting the tattoo and your product on the back shelf. Now you're branding. You're showing people that this is all art.
Yeah.
We're in this, field and in this branding line.
Yeah.
And that gets people going. Like, I mean, I didn't even see that type of product before. I really like that design. I'm going to grab one when I get my hair cut again, Yeah. So like it's that type of stuff where you put it all together. Sometimes by adding things, it makes the brand bigger than what it is when it's alone.
Yeah.
So
it just takes work.
It does.
You just gotta. I feel like I have to set more goals. To really get things where I need them to be.
Well, my biggest thing too. One thing I notice. I mean, because like you said, you're at this point right now where you're like, oh man, like it's so tough. You're given a huge roadblock to change your business model, right? Because you stuck to really focusing on a majority of your profitability and your revenue to come from these
which not to
expos.
not to cut you off, but I thought that would be good for my business.
Yeah.
So I actually started the Cherry Hill Tattoo Expo.
Okay.
And I had the whole thing basically booked out with artists. Over 100 tattoo artists.
Yeah.
We're going to be there at the Crown Plaza in Cherry Hill, and that was supposed to be late May.
Yeah.
Which got canceled because of COVID.
Because of COVID.
But I felt like that was like Krieg and Sieg. Hosts the Cherry Hill Tattoo Expo. And there was a lot of local artists, and there's still artists from all over the country.
Yeah.
But I did want it to be focused on a more intimate setting, not like super busy to where like people couldn't get through the crowd and stuff like that. But they were able to talk to the artists and feel comfortable with them and generate like a relationship for years to come for somebody that wants to get a lot of artwork done.
Now, I'm assuming you're gonna maybe restrictions lighten up or something, and then there's better options for you. I'm assuming you're gonna try to revert back to that expo, right?
It's going to be September 17th to the 19th.
Okay.
But it's going to be 2021.
Yeah.
But
so you still
like I
got...
said, I maybe have a couple spots left.
Yeah.
But
to me,
it was supposed to be a go.
Yeah.
And like I was like, it'll be fine in 30 days. It'll be fine in 30 days. And then it just never
yeah,
fine.
we're at like 200 days.
Like I expected some things to go wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have, enough bottles of hand sanitizer to where like I had to have somebody go run to Rite Aid or something.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yep.
Not that the world was going to shut down.
100%. And I think a lot of business owners,
Right.
I mean, you look at these restaurants, these bar owners, gym owners, it's so sad to see some of these states shut everything down and they tried everything in their power, invested all this additional money to, abide these new regulations and standards that they put in place. And then the next day they can say, nah, you can't be in business.
That's where I'm kind of nervous. I'm buying a commercial property in Blackwood.
Okay.
On the Black Forest Pike in like the downtown section of Blackwood.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make that into a boutique.
Yeah.
To sell like, my designs, my clothing, but I also want to incorporate other people's stuff too.
Exactly.
Like I teamed up with Willow Moon Candles.
Okay.
And that's who actually made this here.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I called it the Black Pearl. So I got a tattoo artist from Virginia to design this logo for me.
That's really nice.
So it was like a ship in a pearl, and then I got like a black bead put in there to kind of like fit the whole like theme going on,
That's really nice.
But they're soy candles, Willow Moon candles.
Smells good too.
Yeah, I know.
Smells real good.
You can keep that actually.
Oh, you're the man, dude.
But,
Thank you. Yeah, I want to be using this for sure. This is awesome.
Yeah, she's great. But
yeah, this is really nice. Yeah, this is
she's very busy, so I was actually happy that she teamed up with me to do this, because it's not like I ordered a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And where's she located out of?
Echo.
Echo?
Yeah.
Really nice.
She just opened up a store. I'm not sure where that's at though.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
So did she just start this as well for her business? Like
no, she's been in business a long time.
Okay.
And she's growing quick.
Nice. That's awesome.
So.
And I'm assuming she's probably all over these platforms as well, right? Social media.
Yeah, she's got a good following.
That's good.
On her Instagram and everything. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a hell of a candle, man. I'm excited to use it. Yeah, it smells good. It smells really good. Yeah, but I think that's the stuff you need, honestly. And it's tough because when you're given something like this, that's, you're thrown into this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the best I've noticed, even for us, I mean, when COVID hit, we lost essentially like around 15 projects.
Oh, really?
And it was quick, people, because they were nervous. Hey, John, you know what? We just want to hold off because we don't know what this is about. And that's completely understandable. Everyone was. We didn't know what this thing was about. So I'm like, man, there goes, like, what am I going to do? That was the thing. I was nervous because I'm like, man, I just hired a bunch of new guys to come on.
Yeah.
I just, invested my time 100% into the company now. And I'm like, man, this is a year I was really banking on to do really great as I kept seeing our years get better and better.
I felt the same way.
So when you get hit with that, you're like, oh man, and there's two things you can do. You can either, pity yourself and be like, all right, well, this is it, or, feel bad, or you go, let's work around it. What can we do to accommodate, and it's tough.
It's tough for me to do that because there's not like, I've done outdoor events, you know what I mean? And like your displays are blowing over, the tent, you're trying to have it on lock and it's just, it's not working, and then it rains or it's too cold. And it's like, then if people don't show up, it's like, what are you going to do?
Exactly. That's the thing. Like, you're like, did I just go out there and waste a whole bunch of time for this?
Yeah.
And it's so tough, man. It really is. And, there's not like no right answer to it because it's the first time really ever happened, at least in our generation, of how do you navigate it, especially with all these restrictions, the way we see it. But, if I could say one thing, it's these social platforms are going to help save a lot of that missed opportunity. It might not come right away, but I could tell you, if you're on these, this is where a lot of people are spending their time now because they are, sitting at their house, sitting inside and really distancing themselves and not socializing. So if you could push it, this might be one of the spots. And the reason why I asked too, for you with the expo, if you're going to restart and go back to it, the biggest thing was I wanted to see, like, did you ever think about maybe doing like a virtual type of expo where you can do maybe like a chat room or, a couple one-on-one, like, hey, if you guys were really planning on coming to this expo and you want to get maybe an opening, like a head start to, if we, we are looking to start September.
I've seen some people do that with, it was, I think, the Trenton Punk Rock Flea Market.
Okay.
They had to close down theirs, and they did like a virtual thing to where, if I had a picture with, a couple bracelets, beanies, whatever, they would put that up on their story, tag me and try to get people to go to my website or whatever. But as far as the Tattoo Expo, it's a good idea. I think it would be very difficult for me. Yeah. I did do things like, as far as like that in-between stage where like I didn't know if it was going to happen because of COVID.
Yep.
I think this was sometime maybe in like April, you know, and I had to push it back to August.
Yep.
And I did like a tattoo contest, or not a tattoo contest, like a best nautical drawing, and I picked a couple people out randomly, and then I did like $100 prize.
Gotcha.
And
that's really nice.
I said, for all those people to share their artwork, the person that gets the most likes or whatever, obviously wins. So that gave a lot of, recognition to the event,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's another great,
But I think by September should be good.
Yeah.
By then. I mean, the whole mask thing, I'm sure is going to still be in play.
Yeah. But you could see, I mean,
you could do gatherings. Like, you really need the gatherings at least at 500 people.
Yeah.
That way you could circulate the people through. But just with tattoo artists and staff alone, you're at 200 right there.
Exactly.
So if they said you can have an event, but it was 200 people, like, that's still not good enough.
Yeah, exactly.
What are they just going to tattoo themselves?
Yeah.
That's not going to work.
Yeah. And that's tough. I mean, could you maybe break it down in increments and maybe do like, if you can get the space and you can have it for a couple of weeks out and maybe break down how many artists there, if it comes to that, the restrictions, you might have an opportunity. Yeah. But it's tough because it
has to go on to where it's like it's normal. Like, it has to be normal.
Exactly.
There's with restrictions, it just makes it so difficult. Because people can't. You're not going to enjoy your time. The reason you go there, like, you congregate, you watch the sideshows, the sword swallowers, the people that do the suspension with hanging from like the hooks and all that stuff. So you do, like, you can't all be 6-7 foot apart.
Exactly. No, that makes sense. It's tough.
Like I teamed up with Forgotten Boardwalk Brewery.
I've seen that actually.
I had Monster Energy coming, so all these people can't, just walk around with their masks on, drinking beer, and you know what I mean? So it's like it just has to be somewhat normal.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, and it's tough, man, because like you say, you try to accommodate it and make it as best as possible, and you get hit with these restrictions. And the only advice I could really give is, just keep trying to, innovate it and try to work around it. Like, one of the best examples I've seen of, like, like I said, even us, when we got hit with that, we said, all right, well, what else can we do? one of the big ideas I came up with, and I took it, from one of my close buddies. He has a drainage and excavation company. He came up with the idea when he was sort of doing it even before like the pandemic hit. And I was going over with him like, dude, that's a great idea. And I'm like, we should do this as well. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I'm telling you, he's like, you can sell right from your house. And the thing is, we were doing virtual submissions. So I would give an example of how to record the room. You put within the video, you can speak or you can text it to me what you want painted in the room. Do you want your chair rail, your baseboards, your doors, point to it if you want within the video, or you can just make a checklist, as long as I get a full scope perimeter of your room. Go up to anything that's close to the walls that, is damaged greatly, so we know what's involved within the prep work. And then, give us a square footage. And I can give you a really accurate, quote right there. And you don't have to worry about me coming out. You're setting up a time with you. We don't need to interact, so it keeps us safe. And when it comes time for us to come do the project, you can isolate yourself in a room. Everyone's going to wear a mask when we come onto the job site, when we're interacting and things like that. Or, if you want to leave the house open to us, we can come in and make sure everything is, clean as we always do, and spotless when we're done. And, so we really made options like that to accommodate. So we can still operate and still be, and make people feel comfortable and, make sure we're operating safely and keeping our crew and, employees safely. So there's things that you just gotta, it doesn't suck having to work with a mask on, or, is it great not being to be there right in person with somebody? I mean, I do FaceTime calls, whatever makes a person feel comfortable and we're getting the adequate information we need to give the best price. I want to sit there and try it. And if it doesn't work, then we'll set something else up, I was doing exterior estimates and I was like, hey, you can sit in the house and be on the phone with me, and I'll go around and I'll ask you about everything on the house, so you want to paint it. So it was just being creative, in that sense. I mean, it was great. My buddy that gave me the idea, he's taking Google Maps before he visits the customer. He goes, all right, I got your whole layout of your entire yard. He's like, is it the same as this? Oh yeah, all right, no problem, I got your price right now.
Oh wow.
Because he did Google Maps aerial view, checked out the whole perimeter of the house, sees what's involved, it gives you the square footage, and
oh wow,
good. So like there's ways to be creative, it's hard sometimes to think outside the box,
for sure.
But when you want to get the job done, you really put your mind to it and you're like, look, there's no other way. Dude, you're gonna come out on top to do it. It's gonna happen. You're gonna figure out ways to get there, and there's the right ways of doing things in the wrong way, and you'll learn that as well. And it's not a waste of time, because I still offer that, even though people have got less lenient. I still offer it as an option, because now, not even that, let alone keeping people safe. Sometimes we'll go out and someone asks me, hey, can you come out, and they're 2 hours out or an hour and a half out. We'll still do the project, especially if it's large enough. But I'm going to have to charge a consultation fee as well. I'm not going to go out and spend 2 to 3 hours of my time, especially if someone's just kicking the wheels, right? I mean, usually I can weed out if someone's just kicking the tires, on a car and just looking to get prices and things like that, just by questions I ask and how I educate, and I can tell. By the time I'm done talking to them on the phone, educating them what our experience and our services and what should be done when they're telling me what they want, right there, I'm already validating why I can charge the consultation fee. And the thing is, hey, look, I got to charge a $65 consultation fee for me to come out for the expenses, and the time that we're putting out there. And obviously the extra knowledge that I'm giving you within your, in your home. But if you do decide to go with us and you go with our services, we're going to make sure that's deducted from your invoice. So it's not a waste of money, right? For you on your end, if you do decide to go with us. So we're going to sit there and offer that back to you.
Do you get a lot of pushback with that, or no?
No. I mean, because like I said, at the end of the day, when I'm done talking to the customer, I'm most likely educated them. There was things that they didn't even think of. I'm like, oh man, so they know what I'm talking about. They know it's worth it. And you won't get pushback if someone. What's $65 to even to a standard room, right? It's usually can be anywhere from $900 to $1,200, depending upon what's involved, the prep work and things like that. Usually, I mean, there's so many variables that go into especially if you're doing a good paint job. Some people are like, oh, that's crazy. Like, I only charge $500. And it's like, all right, well, what are you doing? Like, what kind of materials are you using?
Right.
What's your process look like with prep? Are you even prepping anything?
Yeah.
Do you protect the floors? Do you protect things and have the right coverings? Are you using the right brushes, equipment? Like, there's a lot that goes into it, and that's what I educate my customers on when I see them, so they know what they're buying before I just give them a price.
Yeah.
On top of my proposal that already details greatly what's involved in the job scope.
Right.
So that's the thing. Like, you have to still sell what you're offering, right? But there's ways where there's not going to be pushback on that, because if they're serious, what's $65?
Yeah.
Especially when they know they're getting it back anyway. So
Yeah, right.
That's helps you weed out people that are just looking for pricing.
Yeah.
Maybe trying to lower someone else's price because they're hoping to get a lower price, and they do want to go with that. I mean, they're not the people you really want to offer your business to, because half the time they're not going to appreciate the work. They think it's already not valued. Look, when I give a price, my pricing is the fairest pricing. I always look to make my pricing the best it can be. So it's the best price I can get to my customer, but at the same time, we're still making a profit for our company, so we can keep offering that great service next year, the year after, and moving forward. I mean, this is a business. It's not offering favors, right? We're here to make sure that when we come to your house, we can provide you the best quality service we possibly can, and keep your home safe, keep it clean, and give you what you're looking for when all said and done in a service, if not more.
Right.
And you can't do that unless you make somewhat of a percentage of profit.
Well, yeah, you have to make money.
Yeah, but you don't have to kill somebody either.
No.
And I see the pricing with some companies, and I'm like, what else are you doing? To add that additional $500,000 extra, to what we had. We're right there. We're in that beautiful sweet spot for what we offer. I said there might be companies way less, but they're not going to be giving what we're giving, or they're not legitimate and they don't have insurance.
Yeah, if you mess something up, they're like, all right, well, sorry.
It's not on us, and you can't come at us because we're not registered, we're not insured. This is your loss.
Right.
Or somebody gets hurt on their job, and they don't have workman's comp. Not a homeowner can be liable. Well, you let these guys work in your home, and they weren't registered or insured or had workman's comp. You let them on your property.
Yeah.
Now you're held a victim. So you want to pay $500 extra for that room? Just because you want to save, right? Or have a big liability on your hands.
Right.
So these are things I always tell my customers to look, ask for registration, ask for insurance, ask what they're offering to the table, and that they have a better price than us, and they're willing to do everything we do, and their quality's there, take them, because they're doing something better than we are, and I have to go back and reevaluate. But everything I do, it really fits what we do, and every day I'm looking to improve it, making it better. Like I said, I'm here to offer the service. And the only way I can do that, like I said, the business makes money, but I'm not here trying to become a multimillionaire off of one job, off of one person, right? And that's the key, and I think that's the key in any business. You shouldn't be sitting there just trying to make a home run on every sale that you have, and never have a returning customer. My thing is, I want longevity out of my customers, but at the same time, I can't.
Good referrals too.
Yeah, and good referrals, and that's the service.
Right.
And you can't do that if you're using low quality products, low quality tools, right? Paying employees really cheap, you're gonna get low quality results from workers.
Or they might not show up at all.
Exactly. So there's levels to it, and in order to get there, you have to invest the time, you have to invest the money, and it's that simple, man. But every day, it's just funny when you, like you said, going back to where you're like, man, I'm at that point where I don't know, because I'm getting hit with these roadblocks. I mean,
I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm never going to quit.
Of course.
You know what I mean? But I feel like at the point I'm at right now is the point where a lot of people will be like, all right, I think it's time to, quit or whatever, or just give up because you're not getting the results that you want. But you have to stay focused, and you have to make sure that you set goals, and, and you'll keep moving forward.
That's the biggest thing. What's going to help you get past is set your goal. Right, so your goal was, I need to have this expo happen. This is one of the biggest things it's going to generate. Well, what can I put in place to accommodate or be a portion of that until I can get to that major spot, right? And you can set goals that way. To at least just keep niching to that, in addition to maybe trying other things as well to maybe generate, like you said, with the social platforms and things.
The Tattoo Expo wasn't as much as generating revenue as it was for me really trying to push my brand to be something.
Yeah.
you know, obviously, like if I'm putting money out to have the event, like I
Want to make some type of return.
Yeah, I want some type of return on that.
Yeah.
You know, but I was doing that to really, you know, try to help my brand and help, you know, local artists get the exposure that they deserve.
Exactly.
You know, so that was my big goal behind that. And you know, at the end of the day, like that event's going to happen September 17th to the 19th, 2021. Like it has to happen. Everything's in place for it to happen.
Yeah, that's perfect.
We just need, you know.
Well, hopefully, like I said, everything keeps moving and you get where you guys need. And like I said, I know you're not going to have no problem. It's tough. When you're in that position, it is tough. I mean, I remember when, dude, it's just time and time again. You're going to see it. Believe me, you're going to get stages and you're like, oh, we're here. We made it. But like you really didn't make it. You didn't make it, not even close. Like, and that's the best thing. And when I realized after a few times of that happening, and like you're just like, I'm done. Like
I think people get discouraged too.
You can keep talking. I'm just gonna make sure we're talking.
Oh, yeah. I think people get discouraged when you know they see other people on social media, and you know they see the thousands and thousands of followers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And they think that that's what theirs should look like.
Yeah.
You know, but like they'll get there at some point, but just make sure all those followers and all those likes mean something. You know, like sometimes people go out and I think they like buy their following and stuff like that, and it just doesn't, that can't do anything for you other than just make it look like you have some clout or something. I don't know.
Nah,
you know?
it really doesn't. It doesn't do nothing for you. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, it doesn't do much. When you're buying fake followers, I mean, all you're doing is saying, look, you're trying to make your page look like it's really big and professional.
I'm just saying, I feel like it gives people false hope. It's like, man, this company, you know, and I'm speaking for myself really when I say this, because like I see these other companies that don't design their own items, you know, and they have this huge following, and me myself, I'm like, is it real? Is it fake? I don't know. What am I doing wrong? You know, like, how can I get there? You know, but I don't even know if it's legitimate.
The thing is,
you know?
I think it is. I mean,
I know the ones that are.
Yeah.
You know, but there's so many different things that it's just that goes back to saying like it's flooded. You know?
It is.
What's real and what's fake is so hard to like figure out to me.
One of the things I notice, I mean, it definitely is true because I see real life examples. Like I said, one buddy that gave me the idea of doing the virtual submissions and you know, calls and stuff. I mean, his page is 10,000 followers, and they're all true. Like, but he started his Instagram page, you know, when it first came out, and you know.
Yeah, I see people that have like 5 pictures posted, and they have like 57,000 followers. I'm like,
at the end of the day, that's fake. They bought them. Yeah. You know, they bought them, and the majority of them, I would say maybe 80% of them aren't even real, you know, and they're not generating no wealth for them. They're not bringing any, they might throw fake likes on some pages, but then you look at their account and it's gibberish of who the person is and what's in detail in there. And they're just fake, like, you know, avatar accounts. Yeah. And at the end of the day, that ain't doing nothing. Like, yeah, it might look cool if you have all those followers, but the thing is too, what's your page presenting? What's on your page? Like, how legit is your page? What kind of content are you putting on your page, right? Same thing. What's the use of it? You know, what are you presenting that's going to make people realize, like, oh, that's what they're about? Like, I get calls from individuals from my platforms. Like I said, I only have 600 followers. When we get full-fledged, you know, seasons rocking and rolling, I usually get a call a week, you know, from one of the, you know, social platforms, which is Facebook, you know, Instagram, if it's TikTok, whatever, Snapchat. When you have all these platforms, there's a certain amount that you're going to receive because they're legitimate followers, right? The legitimate individuals that are truly vested in your page. Yeah. You'll see the likes from the same followers, and obviously as you get more because they see your page. And I mean, one thing I do is advertising. I do advertise on Instagram. I'll do like $150, you know, advertisement for a post I do. Do you find that to work for you? Yeah, it does. From the advertisement, it's crazy. From doing the advertisement, I probably say every time I advertise, I got a call from somebody I didn't know, and they seen it through the advertisement. Oh, cool. So it does work. That's legitimate. I've tried them a few times, and it lets you, you know, select like different age groups. Yeah, you can make your target market. What their interests are. Yep. And everything, you know. And I get a lot of views.
on that, but I haven't seen it really generate many sales. Because I feel like then that goes back to what I said, because people see a sponsored ad come across their screen and they just assume that it's like it's fake, or I click on this and like I'll order something and I'll never get it.
Exactly.
I feel like that's how some people feel about those.
Yeah, it's a little tougher on your end too with the apparel, because you do see that. Unfortunately, these scammers had like flooded that. Like you're not seeing that with services.
Right.
Because we got to come up to your house. We got to ship. You know what I mean? Like you said, you can order it online and you're like, oh man, did I just get scammed? Like, did I? So that's what's a little tough. But when you do a post where it's not just a picture, you do a post of you.
Yeah, then that goes back to we got.
And then it goes back. So that's the difference. That's the kind of stuff you want to advertise the authenticity behind it. When you have real reality, where it says, "Oh, this is just a cool picture of a neat shirt. Come to our website."
Yeah. Well, that's why.
Because that's one thing you won't see.
Having me here, because this actually gives me a chance to for actually the followers on Instagram, if I didn't meet them already, to actually know who I am.
For sure. And this gives a great, and that's the other reason why I really done this, is the fact that it gives us the opportunity for people to learn not only your business but who you are. And when you can put a face to a name of a brand, a product, a company, at the end of the day, that's what's going to allow you to realize that, it's what's going to allow your customers to realize that this is legitimate. Already, I feel like I know this person. That's what I was trying to get to. When I did these advertisements, when people come to my page, I get calls from them. Hey, John, how you doing? Like, this is so-and-so. I'm like, before they even say so-and-so, we want our interior done. I'm like, all right, great. I'm like, who is this? I'm sorry, I don't recognize the voice. Oh, I'm so sorry. I feel like I already know you from your page. My name is Mike. I keep seeing yourself on Instagram. I'm like, oh, that's great, Mike. Like, he'll be more than happy. And they already feel like they know you.
Yeah, it's good.
And they should, because you're putting the right content out for them to realize what is really truly involved, with not only your process,
right,
but also, what your brand and what your company, your service is going to be, your product. And it's just funny. Like, sometimes we get on jobs and they already know my workers, because sometimes I'll throw my workers in the videos.
Right.
And I'll label them like, yo, this is Mike, or... And I have like little nicknames, like, my dad, like, AKA Big Blue. And I come on like, oh, is this Big Blue? And it's just funny. Like, I remember we walked on to one job, and when the kids were like, yo, how did they know my name? We didn't introduce. I'm like, I probably saw you from the video. And I is. Like, oh, yeah, we just, we know the crew. So, like, that's what's cool. You know what I mean? And if you can create that, that's how you differentiate. Right. Especially on these platforms. Yeah. Because it's easy. It's easy to be a little, Instagram model or, fake website with fake products. And you're just posting cool things. And you draw someone to your page and you're like, wait, it's just pictures? Like, I don't even know if you have a voice. Right? Like, how can I really engage in you? If, you might have ad, funding because you have so many people follow your page, but the ones that really strive and do well, they have a service behind it. They're showing their character. They're talking to people. Right. They're giving their life lessons, and they're the ones that strive. Everything else, I mean, is there other people trying to bullshit? And you can tell it. You can tell what's bullshit. When they're out there giving you a full scheme pitched, just advertisement. It's all put together. It's pitched. You can tell just because everything flows perfectly. There's no utters. And then you're like, okay, like, you're giving me that fake vibe. It's people want authenticity. They want
that's why like, coming on here. Like, I'm not going to come on here and say like, oh, I have this big thriving business. Like, I'm working at it. Yeah. I'm doing what I have to do, but it's hard.
It's extremely hard, and that's one thing. If it's to tell anybody, out there, the fact is, if you're going to start your own business, you're going to do your own thing, you better realize you're going to dedicate a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of resources. And as you say, you're at this point now, you're like, oh man, like, it's just, I'm at like that brick wall. Am I going to get past it? Like, how many sledgehammers can I take to this thing before I break it open?
But that's like the good thing behind my brand too. Like, Krieg and Sieg, that means like war and victory.
That's the thing.
In German,
Before we end it, even come close, that's one thing I really want to touch on is obviously the branding. What got you? Why did you start this in the first place?
I mean, I always set a goal when I was probably in my mid-20s, I was like, by the time I'm like 30 years old, I really want to, start a business or have my own business.
Yep.
So I saw a couple things that kind of inspired me to start designing or, wanting to design jewelry.
Yeah.
And, that's where it started. You know, so, and then I set a goal. I was like, well, where can I sell this stuff when I get it? So then I was like, I'll go to the tattoo expos. And, it kept going from there.
Now with like just the love of, the jewelry and things like that, what started that from there? Like what got you into that? Was it just something you always liked as a kid, or was there something given to you?
I would kind of go to, what really started was I was looking for a ring to wear. Okay. And I couldn't find anything that really fit my like style, or what I wanted. And that's where I said, like, I saw a couple things that like inspired me to be like, oh, well, that's cool. Like I could make something like that. Yeah. And that's kind of how that got kicked off. But like where I say like that I'm at the point that, I'm not doing great. Like the name of my business always like keeps me going because it's like Krieg and Sieg, war and victory. Like you'll always, whether it's something physical or mental, like you'll always come out on top. You know what I mean? And that's kind of why I picked it.
It's awesome, man. So, it's a great meaning, and it goes into the product. I mean, even when, like I said, we just bought these, and I love wearing it. It fits perfect. I don't know if you really looked hugely into the detail of like when it was manufacturing, like the style, how you want it to fit. I don't know if they give you. Did they give you like products that you can try before you put your brand on it?
Well, you kind of. They do. They have different ones that you could pick from. Okay. I like to stick to, I don't like the real bright colors. Yeah. And that's kind of where I fall short too, because I always try to do stuff that I like. Yeah. Where I have to do, like, I kind of should start doing more stuff that like other people like too. Like I like a lot of earth colors. Yeah. And things like that. That's why I like a lot of like the stone bracelets I have.
But I'm not gonna lie though. I mean? I think it's good to market that though, like, and really niche it, because there needs to be more of it. And like I said, if you try to explain yourself too much, it might be taken away from what your main value, your purpose of what you're seeing the company as, your vision, your branding. But I mean, it's just funny because when you post stuff like this, I'm like, dude, like I would want to wear a ring like that. Like I'm gonna ask you to come up with a design or look at the extra designs you have, because I was even thinking like maybe for a little spoiler alert, but with our company, next time I give out, gifts and stuff, maybe even if you guys could come up with some design with like a paintbrush on there. I don't know if you, custom, designs for smaller groups, but even if that's a service you don't offer yet, maybe it's something that you could do if it's feasible. I would love to. And like have, like you said, have like, maybe some of that additional design in there, also with your company logo on there. Like that would be pretty cool to have. And I would love to wear it, a good amount of time. So, right on. No, I think you're doing the right stuff. I don't think you need to think like you need to be in everything, because when you do that, then you become, you don't differentiate. And I think it's good. I mean, offering certain amount of colors and just keeping certain designs. I mean, this is all art. It's all different. Yeah.
So I know they can't see it in the camera or whatever, but they could always check out my website.
Well, definitely,
KriegandSieg.com. Instagram, Krieg and Sieg.
Krieg and Sieg, right? Yeah. All right, awesome.
I don't know if you put any links in the video or anything
I will.
Or whatever, but
on YouTube I will make sure that we put links to every page that you have where they can look at your brands and see your products and your services and stuff like that. Right on. And also your events, because you post a lot of your events on there and everything.
Yeah,
right?
Like if I'm going to be somewhere, I'll post, on my Instagram and everything like that. Where I'm going to be on the weekends.
That's perfect, man. Well, right. Nick, like I said, I appreciate you, coming on. Yeah. It's been a blast, man. I'm gonna definitely look forward to get you on here a couple more times, because you can't really cover so much in a couple hours. But overall, man, this has been phenomenal. Honestly, you're gonna be fine. It could be tough having to deal with these unforeseen roadblocks, but as long as you just keep looking to network, keep reaching out to other people, because they're, like I said, a lot of businesses are going through this. Yeah. And when you could put additional minds to, like, as you here, like, hopefully you took something from this, because I know I took, some good stuff from what you're doing and where you're moving to. Hopefully, a couple of years out, even with this podcast, hopefully it's a lot bigger than what we see now. And
everything starts somewhere,
Exactly. And like I said, to me, my biggest thing is, I want to expose, the company, the person, and why it's there in the first place.
Yeah.
And looking at the branding, the meaning behind the name, it's it speaks for itself, and that's why you're gonna do well, and it's gonna keep growing.
Cool.
Hopefully, like I said, next time we get you on, we talk a little bit more, see how things are going. Hopefully, the expo has already been, taken in place, and
everything's in the works.
That's it, man. And we keep moving.
Right on.
All right, next, buddy.
All right, cool.
And then I'll just edit all the rest of this stuff, man.
What you say?
I said, then I'll just edit all this stuff when it comes to it. But you did, though, man.